Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are reacting to a very highly requested group in the comments. All of you are asking for us. Finally, Gabe, drum roll, ready?
Yeah.
EXO.
Yay!
Or EXO. We're not really sure.
I think it's EXO.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps saying that they're the best voices, and we happen to be the voice people.
We like singing.
We are voice teachers.
I thought you were going to say we're the best voices, but no, that's not true.
I don't have to say that. Everybody else is who says that. So
if you guys happen to be new and this is the first time you're watching our channel, we are Chase and Melia, and we are voice teachers. We are singers. We are appreciators of good singing. So we like to use react videos to break down techniques we hear and learn something, and hopefully help you guys learn something or two about singing and get better on your singing journey. So if that is interesting to you, stick around and let's get started. So this is our first time reacting to this group, and we're really excited because it's an acoustic session. And acoustic sessions are really great for hearing vocals, right? Like we get to hear more of the true live vocals versus some of the more like produced stuff. So
100%.
pretty excited about it.
I like stripped down.
Yeah.
It really just exposes what the singer's doing. And
Absolutely.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see it. Again, never heard this group before. We don't know anything. I'm excited.
She's my baby. 새하얀 그 손끝에 녹아버린 초콜릿에 You're walking into my door.
Vowels. Can we just talk about a vowel really
Sure.
quick? We always talk about vowels on this channel and how
and
air and vowels
Air
and
and
how
vowels.
vowels, like forward nasal resonant vowels, help you achieve that like pop sound that people I don't think realize, right? So I'm going to give you an example.
You're walking into my door.
My, like it is so
Yep.
forward and beautiful. Really, really nice.
And door.
Yeah.
Door can so easily go door.
Right.
My door.
Yeah.
Door. It's really up forward and up front.
Absolutely. Well, and like the resonance that we talk about on this channel all the time is like really evident in that like little moment. It's like, you know what I mean? I just you can almost feel it. And I just think that vowel plays such a like big role in that.
100%. 100%. Well, that's why it cuts.
Yes.
And like when you think about the difference between, kind of an amateur singer and a professional singer, is a lot of that shine and that power and that brilliance. And people think, it's just them pushing harder or, just being
emotional.
They're just really getting after it. And it's like, there is some of that, but it's also what we would call efficiency.
Absolutely. Which is intention and technique and all of these things and vowel.
서글픈 맘에 커튼을 열어 달빛에 물들인 눈물로 편지 보내요. Remember 그대가 힘들 때면 항상 날 눈물을 웃음과 바꿔줘. 나 없는 곳에서 울지 마요 don't cry. 눈물이 많던 그대라서 안 돼요. It's my turn to cry. 내가 할게요. 그대의 눈물 모아. It's my turn to cry. 내게 맡겨요. 그 눈물까지 this time. 그 눈물까지 this time. 그 눈물까지 this time.
I want to talk about his voice. I feel like it's really delicate. Like he's singing with a little bit more like floaty air. than I think some of the other guys, but it's just still has a lot of beautiful resonance.
Oh yeah. I think though it is, you think it's a lot of air?
I don't.
Let's listen again.
Okay.
Let's listen again.
It's my turn to cry. 내게 맡겨요. 그 눈물까지 this time. 그 눈물까지 this time. 그 눈물까지 this time.
So I would agree with you. I think that what I'm hearing is like an airy quality, not necessarily like.
I was actually going to agree with you.
Really?
After listening to it again, it's like Melia, if you don't know, is Polynesian.
Hey.
And her family always listens to Polynesian music, and that's how I kind of got exposed to it. But it's that
It is
to
that,
me, it's
yeah.
that high kind of heady voice that
Right.
Ooh,
Yeah,
it's
hanging out in
lots
your
of
falsetto,
really
yeah.
floaty, and it's like, you know, falsetto or head voice, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think it takes a lot of air to really
I agree
support
with
that
that.
and make it sound as beautiful as he's
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think the only reason why I kind of second guessed myself listening through the second time.
Because I questioned you.
Well, it's because you questioned me, which
You
don't
just
do.
folded immediately.
I did.
After I was like, and you were like, oh, never mind.
Never mind.
Not
I
me.
take it back. Well, I think that what I did hear the second time was a little bit of like, it almost felt like a ha, 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 ha,
sure.
which is, I think, a sign of not having like airflow going through a phrase. But I think that I was more saying an airy quality in like, it was light and delicate is really the word I wanted to use to describe it. It was a very
Absolutely.
delicate sound, but it still had a lot of resonance and like, oomph. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, and I would say, you know, that is something that we kind of watch out for sometimes when we're hearing new people, is that some people try to control the vibrato with
Yeah.
their breath, and that can be kind of rough, or at least it makes it a little inconsistent. And
Yeah.
like young kids, when they, at least this is something that I experienced when I was teaching a lot of younger
Voices,
people,
yeah.
younger voices. They want vibrato, and so they try to make it happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of that actually made, if you continue that, it'll make your vibrato really huge when it actually comes in as you mature. And so, you know, it can be almost detrimental to
Right.
your singing if you're trying to create something that should happen naturally.
Well, and that's, I think, our biggest philosophy with vibrato is that it's not something you manipulate to create. It's something that happens because you allow it to happen with good air support and, you know, like allowing your voice to kind of naturally come with it instead of forcing it to like be something it's not.
Yeah.
깊어진 하루 틈 사이 너는 조용히 다가와 어둠을 걷어내고 나의 잠을 깨워 그리고 멀어져 열린 창문차 너머로 또 길을 잃었나 넌 밤 공기가 아직 차가워 일어나 So baby hold on 널 혼자 두게 가 걱정이 돼 거리를 두고 너의 뒤를 따라가 쏟아지는 달빛의 샤워 그 화려한 표정은 본 적이 없어 그림처럼 멈춘 네가 보여 그 시선 끝엔 닿을 수가 없는 안길 수도 없는 곳 수면 위에 비친 건 그 사람이 아니야 이뤄질 수 없는 슬픈 너의 스토리 가까워질수록 더 아파질 테니 그 사랑만은 stop 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 yeah 그 사랑만은 stop 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 yeah 이렇게 내가 너를 타게 불러 다가가지 마 baby 그 날개가 젖으니
Okay. Wow. They all have really lovely voices.
I know it's hard to like focus on one thing to do. There's a lot going through my mind right
No,
now.
totally. I think that I feel like there's obviously like, and this is an assumption, right? Based on my first time watching this group, I feel like the gentleman that sang first
Oh, yeah.
seems to be a leader of sorts.
Yeah.
He just seems to kind of be the main vocalist.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, and it's this guy right here. I want to say the one with the tie. I guess they all have that tie thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so his voice.
It's a uniform. It's an outfit.
And I'll insert like who I'm talking about here, just so you guys can know. But I feel like what I love about his voice the most, and what I'm really noticing that's kind of cool and unique, is that he has an obviously like contemporary style, but he is allowing his vibrato and more natural like resonance to really just kind of shine through. It's almost like I feel like that's a common technique and effect in musical theater, where it's a little bit more like classical pop. I don't. That's like a thing I'm making up, but like it's just a bit more like it's a classic sound, and I really like it a lot.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm noticing is like the level that you have to be to sing like this, or even, you know, just watch the guys playing the guitar. I was thinking about that for a second, that like, you know, these guys are playing guitar for tens, you know, maybe 10,000 lots of people,
probably more than 10,
right? And like
hundreds of thousands.
They're accompanying something, and when you're playing like that, every movement of your hand is heard in a giant stadium, right? But it only looks cool if you're chill about it,
right?
If you're cool about it.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing with singing, that if they were obviously really focusing or doing a bunch of stuff, it would take away from the vibe and everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
And so it just, to me, you have to train to a level to where it becomes easy, where you can relax into what you're doing, where you can look natural. Right. And that's, I think, one of the most amazing things is when you're doing something and you're making it look easy. That's really it just shows a lot of skill, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think that that's a really good point, because I even noticed like a lot of them are like drip sweat, so they probably this is probably like a break for them. And it's kind of interesting to be like, after dancing minutes. And like just exerting so much effort, I think it's really neat to see still high quality singing and performance, even though this is somewhat of a break. Probably this is probably like a rest song. And I think that the point that you bring up is so cool, because that is something that like professional singers and musicians have to deal with, which is you are so good at your instrument, you have so much practice in that technique and the skill that they're not actively thinking about these things that we're talking about. I don't believe. I mean, some of them might be on a different part of their journey where they have to remind themselves.
It becomes instinct.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. It becomes how you use your instrument.
They're thinking about different logistics, right? Like they're probably like, okay, make sure you're taking deep breaths here because this is our break. Like enjoy sitting down for a moment. You know, it's a little bit more practical and logistical than it is probably like, okay, send good air and use this vowel and,
or
you know, have good support. Exactly.
I think that's a thing too, is when you're in, you know, people call it flow state, when you're just doing the thing. You're not thinking about doing the thing. You're just doing the thing. And I think that takes, you know, people don't talk about how much preparation that actually takes. Yeah. You have to be so proficient and fluent in what you're doing in order to not think about what you're doing. Exactly. And still being able to do it well.
Yeah. At a very high level.
One thing I want to hear again is this first guy's, and it's this cry that's like falsetto, but it sounds like that really full, kind of sharp, and I don't mean like pitch-wise sharp. Yeah. That's really good. That one.
He let it really.
Even mine is a lot more breathy. Yeah. It's like riding the line of that falsetto and that kind of full voice, but you're not like getting after it. It's really and the way he does it is just so delicate too.
But also like full.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
artistic.
It is. It's artistic. Really beautiful. Well, and it's like we talk a lot of times too about like the yodel a little bit, the yodel effect that you hear where people transition from like a chestier, lower resonance to their like more head voice. Yeah. And it feels like it's really sitting on his passaggio. Like it's sitting like right at that sort of flip, and he's leaning into it in a way that it's really beautiful.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
우타이마쇼!
Can you imagine?
I can't. It's crazy.
이거리 완전 난리야 사람들 쌓이는 남이야 함께하는 매 순간을 like boom 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 봐라
Hey girl, 영 같던 찰나 나를 한순간 뚫고 가 그 세계로 불러주면 나에게로 다가와.
Okay, I gotta talk about, it's more the falsetto, singing. How do you make it not sound like
Yeah.
it's all that vowel. It's
Yeah.
the same thing we were talking about. Hey girl, hey girl. It's you just gotta really bring it forward and you're still letting it out. That's the other
Yeah.
thing. A lot of people like clamp down and try to make it sound full when they're they're really and it's not that way at all. It's the more you let go of it, the easier that's going to be and the more full it's going to sound. So it's the same falsetto, you always say hey girl. I could use some practice with it, but it's definitely just playing with that, with really bringing it forward and just giving it lots of air.
It's the air, yeah.
But don't clamp down any harder.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's also the trick, like you've said before, with you need more air for that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, that's the physics of what your voice needs to function, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there it's your false folds.
Yeah.
So it's like you need air in order for your vocal folds to even come together. Like they can't do what they need to do without it.
And some people believe, so the false folds, falsetto and false folds and stuff, it's just the tips of your vocal folds. They come together, they smack like this, and that's how our voices
They
work.
don't smack.
They don't smack. They
like
come together.
curtain.
What is it called? And they phonate.
They phonate.
adduct.
They adduct.
Okay. Anyway, it's just the tips when it's your falsetto. But my voice teacher and some other people have talked about, the more air you give it, the more it's going to not just use these edges. It's going to bring, the air is going to kind of suck in the whole thing. And so then you're going to be singing these wildly high notes, but with your full vocal.
Wow, that's a cool
And that's
image.
just a product of using enough air.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a wild, it's a theory, but the more I imagine it, the more it actually helps me to sound better up higher and
Absolutely.
not feeling like I'm fighting my break or doing things that I don't really want to be doing.
Yeah.
Fighting with my voice at all. I
Absolutely.
just don't want to do that.
Well, and I think that's cool because that's a cool way to approach your voice as an instrument, is really understanding the function.
Yeah.
Like the function of the instrument that we have, which is
Yeah.
understanding how it all works.
Yeah, you can't go too far though. I had a voice teacher who always focused on the anatomy of
Right.
stuff. And he was like, yeah, your upper retinoids aren't fully coming together. And I'm like,
Okay.
how do I do that? How does that? And then he's like,
Right.
well, it's, and the more I thought about each individual piece of my anatomy, the less I really connected with my instrument. So,
It can become
It's
overwhelming.
helpful
Yeah.
to know the anatomy and all that kind of stuff and how the voice works. But it also, that's why voice teachers speak in
Metaphor.
metaphors. Yeah, 100%. Is because it's all in our heads, and so
Right.
whatever works.
There's no button
There's
that
no
we
buttons
press.
to push.
삼각처럼 가득 차 너를 마주한 순간 oh my 편하게 여기 앉아 이제 내 얘기를 들어봐
Oh, I don't care. 멀리 돌아간대도 이렇게 너 곁에 다른 남자가 돼줄 테니.
Whoa.
Okay, I was going to talk about the last guy sounding great. But this guy just it's effortless.
Absolutely.
Like
And he's just
not
sitting
even
there.
trying.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sounds like he's just getting after it. And it sounds like, he's got this big powerhouse voice, which he does.
Yeah.
But it's not because he's working super hard.
Right.
It's because he just places it really well and gives it air.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
but it's not happening here.
Right.
It's not happening here. He's not forcing it, pushing it, any kind of stuff. He's
Right.
just
He's just singing.
Yeah, he's just singing.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's really awesome to hear. I feel like this is why we love like a lot of these K-pop groups, because there's such good singing, and it feels like that's the expectation, right? Like not to say that like other groups there's not good singing, but I think it's the style of singing that you and I like, which is like intentional singing.
Oh yeah.
Like this is obviously intentional
and
singing.
people who have worked on it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of obvious when they the way that they're singing is put together in a way where it's like, I could imagine him going on tour for a year and being totally fine.
Absolutely.
You know, singing a ridiculous amount of shows, and he's going to be fine.
And not losing his voice.
It's
Yeah.
going to be great.
줄 테니 내 입술에 너 스며들어와 나를 깨워 Time's wasting now Don't wait 라는 것들은 만나 그 안에 진짜를 봐봐 Call me baby, call me baby Call me baby, call me baby 사랑에 거쳐간 맘마 나 말고 큰 문을 닫아 Call me baby, call me baby Call me baby, call me baby 나는 것들은 만나 그 안에 진짜를 봐봐 Call me baby, call me baby Call me baby, call me baby 사랑에 거쳐간 맘마 나 말고 큰 문을 닫아 Call me baby, call me baby Call me baby, call me baby 날 나를 존재하게 해내 세상은 오직 You're the one You're the one 나는 것들은
Okay. Da 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 da. That's not low. Like
Which part?
they were all singing in unison, and I just feel like they're just all.
날 나를 존재하게 해내 세상은 오직 You're the one
And they all just have like not that that's crazy high, but just like where that sits and how they all sang that. So like, I don't know, it just sounds really nice because it feels like they're not like screaming.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're singing it.
Well, and singing in unison is kind of
It's
harder
so
than
hard.
harmonizing. In
And
a way.
it's like the edge, I think, like kind of the top end of you know, I don't know. It's hard for me with male voices because like it's a different instrument, right? Like the ranges are different, but I do feel like that sounds like the way that sounds is just so full and nice, and like them all doing it at the same time is just really impressive.
Absolutely.
I think it's also a bop.
It's a bop.
나는 것들은 만나 그 안에 진짜를 봐봐 Call me baby, call me baby Call me baby, I'll be your baby
Wow.
시간아 조금만 더 달려줄래 어둠이 내리게 해줘 그녀를 데려와 수많은 별 그중에 너는 only one 난 고개 들어 바라볼 수밖에 나 한없이 닿을 수 없나
I can't get over how effortless that guy sings.
I know. I can't get over how K-pop is like musical theater. Like in the sense that they have to have so many skills.
Yeah.
Like so many skills. I'm sorry.
Feels like they can do everything.
They're literally like
They can do all the things.
they can do all the things like at a high level.
That is
it's
pretty
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty humbling. Pretty humbling.
No, I know the way that guy
I can
sings.
barely sing.
like we're making our whole life
Yeah,
about.
I can barely sing.
Don't ask me to dance.
Yeah, don't ask me to dance.
It's so good.
없나 따라가 봐도 잡을 수 없나 손을 뻗어도 왜 이리 멀까 나 기나긴 밤을 깊은 한숨만 반짝이는
Ooh, okay.
I just want to
I'm
compare
really
those
excited.
two guys'
I know. I
voices
wanted
real
to do the
quick.
same.
수 없나 따라가 봐도 잡을 수 없나 손을 뻗어도 왜 이리 멀까 나 기나긴 밤을 깊은 한숨만
So the guy with red hair is kind of an example where it's, you know, it's already sounds good. Like we're not saying things
Yeah.
don't sound good, because that's like subjective.
That's not what we're talking about. Yeah.
We don't talk about that. We're talking about, why is his a little bit less clear and I would say color. Well, no, it is a color because it is a color, right? But it's like it's not as strong, or I would say it doesn't cut as through as much as this guy right here. And why is that? And I think that a lot of that is that vowel, la, 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 where the other guy's la, 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 la. And it's not that I just sang louder. It's that I just changed my vowels to where it's more forward and all the sound is just, it's coming out.
It's literally resonance. It's like how your resonance is functioning because of how you use your vowels, which is like, if we're an instrument, that's like our mouthpiece. You know what I mean? Like that is the space that the sound comes out of. We control that directly through our tongue and our lips and our brain and our soft palate. There's so many things that affect that. And that's what we mean. Like that's all encompassing when we say vowel, right?
Absolutely.
But that was a cool example. I think it was really obvious.
It's always one of my favorite things to do is compare these two voices back together.
I want to listen to this line again because this guy's really good.
Beautiful.
반짝이는 그 순간 넌 황홀하게 내게 와 쏟아지는 유성우성 너 역시 넌
And like the difference between his voice and the one that just sang last, let's listen to that again. It's a little bit, I'm going to use the word smaller. And what I feel like I hear is just a different resonance place. So the guy that we were talking about earlier that has kind of the shorter buzz cut hair, when he sings in these higher places, it feels like a very full resonance, like the whole range of resonance. When he was just singing, this last guy, it was extremely like clear and resonant, but it was missing a little bit of the lower end, I think, where it feels a little bit just more like piercing. And it's just fun to hear the differences.
Well, and I would say it feels a little bit like stretched. Like he's kind of pushing, people talk about chest voice and head voice. And I feel like this guy's pushing his chest voice up.
I agree. I would agree.
That's at least what I'm hearing.
깊은 한숨만 반짝이는 그 순간 넌 황홀하게 내게 와 쏟아지는 유성우성 너 역시 넌 나를 원했단 걸 이 어둠을 지나서 너를 태워서 넌 눈부신 빛을 던져버려 가까워지는 널 기다려 Say baby baby 넌 내 행운의 여신 lady lady lock lock lock
Wow.
I loved the whole time they were kind of flipping up, and it was so good. That is such a hard thing to do is to maintain that really nice resonance and full sounding voice when you flip up.
Absolutely.
And they just all of them, everybody who did that was killer.
Really good. Yeah, I'm really excited so far, and I can't wait to dive further. We're going to split this specific video into 2 parts, so be sure to come back and check out part 2 when we post it. If you guys happen to be new to our channel and you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.